Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. I think we'll be able to get through this video without a downpour. We just had one and there's like little pop-up showers, nothing severe at all. But it was pretty heavy rain shower, but now we're starting to get some clear skies. I think you can kind of see it there in the background, starting to clear off. So I think we'll be good, but there's very likely more coming over the next 24 hours, and that's fine. That's good, normal spring type rains. Over the last week or two, at least, I mean, I could go back further. Let's just keep it simple. The last week or two, I have made quite a bit of content that has not been very popular. Some of you don't want to hear it. Some of you disagree with it. Some of you are tired of hearing about it. You don't care. Some think I'm taking things way too far. Some people think I'm not taking it far enough. And for me, that all translates as to you can't make everybody happy, so don't try. But I have been trying to get to a point, and it's not some kind of Trump deranged syndrome or that I hate Donald Trump, or it's nothing like that. I mean, you can believe it differently, but I assure you that's not the case. I'm trying to get to a point of showing people that you can't have any faith in leaders in government. No matter who they are, no matter how they talk, no matter what they say, no matter any of it. You can't put your faith in them. I firmly believe that nearly everything that we're watching happening, all the chaos, all the back and forth, it's all a staged event. It's all planned. It's all orchestrated. It's a script that we're watching play out before our eyes. I think that there is some evidence to indicate that that's true, and I'll get to that here in just a minute. But I think that's the case, and I think a lot of people are getting wrapped up in it, and maybe they're getting their hopes up, or their emotions, or whatever it is. And they're being distracted from what's going on and what we actually should be doing. And that's the plan. That's the plan, to distract you, to deceive you, to make you think one thing's happening when actually something else is going on. And I think this has been going on for a long time. And I know a lot of people believed that electing a new president was going to come in and dramatically change all that. And things were dramatically changed, by all means. But it didn't change the plot. It just changed the direction or mode of travel to get to that plot. There had to be a change. People were getting really tired of the last 5 years of woke, left, whatever. And I said all along that I believed that real strong, insane push for this very woke, left, weak ideology was to push everyone so far to one direction that we will rubber band back and accept whatever is different from that. And that's exactly what's happened. Absolutely exactly what's happened. I am old enough, and I know that many of you are older, but I'm old enough that I can remember a time when if a head of state was a really bad person or a real threat, that he was either taken out or there was an actual legitimate attempt to take them out. I can remember a time when governments that really actually hated each other blew up naval vessels, blew up commercial vessels, shot down commercial planes with rockets, all sorts of espionage. I mean, Hollywood made lots of movies on this topic during the 80s and the 90s, and a lot of it was based on actual events that had happened. That's the kind of stuff that was going on. I mean, the day-to-day lives of the average American, and maybe most of the world, seemed pretty somewhat stable, but the things that went on in the global affairs was really chaotic. Now it's kind of flip-flopped. Now the actual daily lives is crazy to a certain extent, and they're trying to make the stuff that's going on in the world crazy but I think it's all a show. I mean, take for instance Vladimir Putin. I have nothing against the man. I have no love for him. I have no hatred for him. But if he was a really bad dude that so many people have said about over the last 2 or 3 years, why hasn't anyone legitimately tried to take him out or done so? Like been successful? I mean, with all the intelligence agencies around the world, someone would have been able to do it. And you've got almost half of the world actually at war with him, directly or indirectly. Benjamin Netanyahu, another person. I mean, even our own president or the past president. And yet you're not really seeing that. I understand there were some attempts on Donald Trump, but what's interesting is that after they happened, the information about the actual event disappeared. Like no one knows what happened. And no one knows what's happened since then either. It just kind of disappeared. We've got these wars that happen in a matter of hours or days, where Iran and Israel lobs missiles and bombs and drones at each other a few times, and then they're like, all right, we taught you a lesson, we're going to go home now. India and Pakistan did it for a few days, and then they're like, okay, let's open the airspace. Airspace is back up. Everything's back to normal. That's not normal. But what I believe is happening, they're trying to give everyone just enough bread and circuses to keep them busy. Just enough fodder to the peasants to make them believe that things are happening. Make them believe that the world is dangerous. Make them believe that everything is in chaos, that there are wars and rumors of wars. Make them believe that we live in a dangerous place and we should be afraid and we should rely on our masters, our savior, our politicians, our leaders, because they're going to figure this out. They're going to go to Turkey and they're going to come up with a ceasefire. They're going to go to Switzerland. They're going to come up with a trade deal. They're going to meet here and there. You don't have any clue what's being talked about. And you don't even have any clue about what's actually the outcome. I mean, you have what they tell you the outcome is, but you don't really know. So we have to put all of our faith in them. And that's what they want. And I think that's what we're seeing happen. Does that mean that nothing bad is happening? Absolutely not. In fact, it means just the opposite. It just means that the bad things that are happening are not what you see on the surface. Is there wars? Are there wars? Are there possibilities of new wars? Absolutely. Are there real trade wars and things? Yes, absolutely. They really are events that are happening. Like 9/11, those buildings really did come down, right? They really did come down. How it happened, though, and that's up for debate, right? It's like all of a sudden now, just in the last few days, now it's all about money. Money. Last week and the week before, we heard all these strong threats from the Trump administration against Iran that they will be, one way or the other, whether through war or through sanctions, we will destroy, we will take care, they can't have any, nuclear programs, all this kind of stuff. Now all of a sudden it's, they can have some nuclear programs and we're going to work out deals and trade with them, and everybody's going to be rich. Oh, and now we're going to start working out on a relationship with Syria, and we're going to normalize trade relations with Syria, and they're going to build a Trump Tower. That's what they said, and we're going to drop all sanctions, and they're all going to be rich. There's just going to be money just floating around everywhere. Oh, and China, we've got this trade deal with China. And guess what? It's going to make everybody rich. And all this stuff that's happening, it's going to make us all rich. We're all going to be wealthy. I mean, I don't know where all this wealth is coming from, but we're all going to have it apparently, because all of a sudden now it's all about profit, wealth. I mean, that's what we're hearing. And that sounds good, because regardless of whether you're left or right, center, doesn't matter, money sounds good. The question is, who's making all this money? I mean, who's going to get wealthy? I don't really think it's going to be you and I. I don't know how this translates to you and I becoming wealthy. At least most of my listeners, I would guess. I mean, we're still going to have to pay taxes, whether it's in tariffs or income taxes or both, and property taxes and all that. Our dollar is still constantly, continually being devalued. And at some point, they may drop it and switch over to digital currency, which is becoming the more likely scenario if we continue down this path of this big global trade deal. Well, if it's the whole planet's trading all nice and everything, then we got to have a way to transfer the money so that trade can happen. So a big digital currency would be the most likely candidate, right? I mean, in the last 5 years, who's actually made all the money? Statistically, the numbers show that the average American, the average middle-class worker has either lost wealth or not really gained. It's been kind of flatlined. I mean, there's a few people that have, but most haven't. In fact, the only ones that's really gained wealth has been the elites. They're gaining more. They're making more money. And so all of this is being pushed, and we're being told that we're going to be rich. The Iranians are going to be rich. Average. Those Syrians out there that's been going through civil war for 14, 15 years, and they're eating camel dung because they can't, do it. They're going to be rich too. Everybody's going to be rich, right? The whole world's going to just be modernized and rich. And we've got all this technology and AI and robots and everything. And now everyone, it's going to be like the Jetsons, the whole planet, right? All of that, all that we have seen happen, I believe it's scripted to a certain extent. I'm not saying that there's someone up there saying, okay, on this day, Trump is going to say this, and on this day, Vladimir Putin's going to say this. But I think that there's a whole lot more going on behind the scenes kind of orchestrate this. I think what's going on right now between the United States and Israel, I think it's a big orchestration. If like I said, if these people were really so bad, and these various countries, why don't we see real attempts? Why don't we see, going back, let me quickly segue to something else, but it's directly connected. Back before the election last year, I was saying that if Trump gets elected and there's really no problems, like if it's very smooth, then you should be very, very concerned that maybe he's not the outsider a lot of people try to say that he is. And guess what? He was elected, and there was no problems. In fact, it was the quickest and smoothest election that I've seen in many, many elections. I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen an election that quick and that smooth, that it was called so quickly and it just happened smooth. And then after, everyone was saying, well, they'll get elected. And then then we're going to see cities burn. It's going to be riots. We all thought that, and it didn't happen. The vast majority of the chaos that has been going on since Trump has been in office, he has actually caused, him and his people. I understand there's the whole judicial system trying to sue him and stop him from, firing people or deporting people. That's all fluff. That's distractions. It's nothing, okay? It's not that big a deal, because everyone knows that, some little podunk district judge in the middle of nowhere is not going to tell the president what to do. It's just to try to make it look like there's busyness. The fact is there's not been that much big of resistance. Like, go back to 2016. Look at all the resistance that happened then. And there isn't now. Look at the people that he's put into power. Months ago, they were doing podcasts and interviews and saying, oh man, if I was the head of the FBI, if I was the head of the DOJ, if I was the head of this, if I was the head of the Department of Education, we'd shut it down on day one. Most of the things that they've promised have not happened. I understand, they're working inside. Just trust it. Just trust it. It's all theater, folks. It's all theater. Most politicians, most people cannot get elected into any type of important position of power. This is in the United States and everywhere, all across the world. I believe this firmly. Most people cannot get elected into an important political position. They're chosen. They're placed there. They're not elected, they're selected. And if by chance someone slips through the cracks and actually does get elected, they get bought out and blackmailed very quickly. I used to be much more involved in state and local elections. And I saw a lot of things firsthand. And I've heard from many other people. It just happens. It always has, and it always will. So this idea that this one miraculous, amazing person or several amazing people can get in and completely uproot the system and make it this big, utopian, perfect place for us, it's not going to happen. I mean, it's going to look different. It is looking different. But at its core, it's not different. The direction is the same. It's just going to look different getting there. We need to realize that. We need to realize that this is all orchestrated. And I think that the reason why we're seeing the chaos, that the Biden administration was the setup. You know, you could say it's, a lot of people say, well, it started with Obama. It started way before Obama. But Obama was the one that kind of got the gears really in motion, right? The Biden administration was the setup. Getting everything in the place that it needs to be and getting the people in the place that they need to be so that when this administration came in, people would, oh my goodness, it's different. It's way better. Because what we had the last 4 years was the most horrible presidency ever. And we're going to accept whatever they do. And we've been, lied to for years. We've been told all this deep, dark, deep state conspiracy, QAnon garbage stuff. And so we can't question anything. We just got to believe and trust that these are good people, and they're going. It doesn't matter that there's signs and little things that are happening that we should question, that should cause us to that's weird. Why is that happening? Don't worry about that. Just trust the plan. And you're going to trust the plan right into being chipped and being monitored and being controlled. In ways that we probably can't even imagine. And I'm not blaming it all on Donald Trump. He is just playing his part, just like Joe Biden played his part, just like Barack Obama and Bill Clinton and George W. Bush and Bush Sr. and Reagan and so on and so forth. They are playing the part that they have been given. And they may have a little leeway on either side of what they can do. But in the end, they can only do so much. And we have to wake up and realize that. And then we have to prepare accordingly. And preparing accordingly for us is the best thing, is to become the least amount of dependency upon this system as possible. We have to learn to do for ourselves, to take care of our own, to take care of each other, and to make plans so that as this starts to fall apart, and the new stuff becomes more controlling and intrusive, we are just little by little backing out of all of it. I know it's easier said than done, but it is something that can be done. And that's something that we need to be putting our focus on. It's time to get your houses in order, to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.